What's up, y'all? It's 10 at 3 time at Tennessee. How are you? I hope you're doing well. Hope everything in your life is going well. Certainly a Merry Christmas to everybody out there as we are running this one on Christmas Day. Remember, we are always candid here. And the deal is this is being recorded on Christmas Eve, the eve of Christmas Eve. And we're doing a marathon day. What we've done this week is it's in order to get everyone around here in terms of, I guess I'm included in this, but the people who also help run this show and produce this show and do everything, in order to get them home with their families as much as possible during the holidays. We are stacking 4 of these. We're doing 4 of these on Tuesday. This is the second of 4 that we're recording, and it's the one that will run on Christmas because remember, a lot of people in this building, not all of them are from here. They went to school other places. Their parents live other places. They want to see their peoples around the holidays. So we try to accommodate everyone and get everyone in and out as much as they can while also making sure that someone is always on watch. Someone is always ready to go if something happens. And the way our deal is working, at least with sports, is Emily and Elijah are not, their families are not here. Their families are in Pennsylvania, Connecticut, the Carolinas. And so they are there. And I'm at least here because my family is coming to Knoxville for Christmas. So basically, during the day anyways, I'm keeping it low on the eggnog just in case something's got to happen. Now, after like 11 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock, hey, if we're throwing them back for the holidays, it is what it is. During the day, staying responsible, being on call in case something happens, and we have to come in here and talk about it because I do live just about a mile from here. So there's no question when it comes to who's going to come in and do stuff if things need to happen. So hopefully for everybody's sake, there's no huge news going on. If there is huge news, hopefully it's good news. And speaking of good news, we got Justin Wallace in here with us today back there on the ones and the twos. Miss Ainsley did the Christmas Eve, and we got Justin for Christmas Day. Merry Christmas, fella. How are you?
I was going good. How are you?
Doing great. And people say, like, one of the arguments that I just have zero time for, I try to stay away from hot button issues. It's one of the rules. Remember, we got basically our commandments on this show. We got our rules. And the very first one that we did, I seriously wrote them out and printed them out, what our policies here are and why we do what we do. Try to explain this. We're all friends here. Let's stay honest with each other. And one of them is I stay away from hot button social issues unless they veer into the sports lane. If people are like, stick to sports, I'm like, okay, but do people outside to sports stick to what they do? No. When they do, hey man, we're good. Now we're bringing you news, and sometimes there's no way to avoid the streams crossing, right? Everything is politics. Politics is everything. That's life. Things go into, you can't just separate things into their own buckets. That's not really how life works. And so our general policy is that we stay away from those things unless they encroach on our turf, in which case it's like, okay, we'll talk about it. But even when we do that, I will be crystal clear about what I think, and I will present the alternative because we are journalists here. And so it's like you'll never ever know who I vote for because I won't talk about it. But anything that's like basically not political, not religious, I'll talk about it. But if we do go into things, we will be upfront about everything because we will be honest and we will tell you the difference in what we think and what we know. With that as the preface, I will say that the whole happy holidays versus Merry Christmas debate can fly a kite. I have no time for that. None. I have no time for that. It is ridiculous. We will fight about anything. So my policy, and this is my firm policy on this, because hey, I've told people all the time, my wife's maiden name was Goldberg, right? There are people in our family who do not, celebrate Christmas, not in the religious sense anyway, maybe in the secular sense. So my policy is, I say it's my personal choice that I say happy holidays to people, but it's not trying to be, I don't think politically correct it's a weird way to put things because you're just trying to make a wedge issue here. But I think when I think of inclusiveness, I think of it as like a good word. Like you want everybody to feel like they're in on this thing we call life. So my policy is, if I know someone celebrates Christmas, I will say Merry Christmas to them. If I don't know you personally, if I don't know what you believe and what you do and where you go to church and if you do and if you celebrate things and if you don't, I say happy holidays. Now, if you say Merry Christmas to me, then I'll say it right back to you because you that's, you know what I mean? Like you by doing that, you've told me where you stand. So I'll say Merry Christmas back to you and I'll say it happily. But if I don't know, I say, hey, happy holidays. And I don't, that's where I stand on that. And whereas a society, I hope we can just go do that and stop fighting about everything, because we fight about everything and it is exhausting. It is exhausting. Pick the fights that really matter, fight those fights, otherwise live and let live. That's what I think, Justin.
I agree. I wasn't sure where you were going with that big long wind up there,
but no, because people say because social media will explode. Like if I say Happy Holidays, and instead of Merry Christmas, it will start. It absolutely has and will start fights with other people fighting on my social media account, like in the replies, just going back and forth to each other. I'm like, dude, just have some eggnog or switch to decaf, or go play with a kid, play with one of your kids. Go. What are we doing here? Does everything need to be a fight? No, it doesn't. So look, we've got the red and green lights. I've got the festive holiday lights on. And you know what? So if you're Christmas, Hanukkah, Festivus, whatever you are, when Ramadan happens, happy Ramadan. Whatever you do, I hope you do it happy. That's where I stand on that, Justin. I am tired of everything being a fight. And while I said from the beginning, and I meant it, that this show didn't need to have my name on it, that was more, and it's fine. That's what, when the boss is like, we hired you, we want your name on it. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not calling it the Wes Rucker Show, so we'll find something else. But they wanted the name on it, and that's fine. That's fine. But that is my name back there. So I'm going to tell you what I think. And that's what I think, is that, especially during the holidays, man, just relax. Just relax. Sometimes let sports be sports. Just let ball be ball. It's, we are the toy department. Now, we don't always get to be that, because sometimes things happen that are serious and we discuss them and we report them. And if we break them, we break them. If not, we confirm them. And then we discuss what they mean. That's how we serve the community. That's our job. And you can't just pretend that bad things don't happen or controversial things don't happen. That's not how life goes. We are serving the community. And by doing that, we're telling you what we think you should know. And then you think whatever you want to think about it, but we're presenting you with information. And then some of us, on top of that, are asked to say what we think. So it's weird, because when you begin your career as a reporter and you're schooled in those kind of hard tactics of making sure that your coverage, always check yourself to make sure your coverage reflects multiple sides of an issue. And then you become a columnist as you get older, and you're like, okay, now we want your opinion on things. I'm like, okay, but for years I wasn't supposed to have it. Now I do have to have it. Okay. And so it's this weird space of reporting, but also saying, hey, this is what I think about it. Now you think whatever you want to think about it, which is a hilariously long-winded way of saying, say whatever you want. If Justin walked in here and said Merry Christmas, I would say Merry Christmas, buddy. If he walked in and said Happy Holidays, I'd say Happy Holidays. If we hadn't mentioned anything and he's like done for the day or I'm done for the day, I'd be like, oh man, I forgot to tell you earlier, Happy Holidays. And if he responded Merry Christmas, I go, hey, and Merry Christmas too. Can't we just do that? Why do we have to fight about that? I don't want to fight about that, especially on Christmas. And I won't have it. I won't have it. Kids, I won't have it. We love each other in this family. I'll turn this car around. Did you ever have that, Justin, in the like going on? Do you have siblings?
Oh yeah, I'm one of 6 brothers.
Nice.
So yeah, we have.
Wait. Where do you fit in that order in terms of those 6?
Kind of smack in the middle. Both parents are divorced and remarried.
Okay.
So I was kind of on different sides. But at one point at my dad's, there were 4 of us living, all brothers living in the same building. So.
And you're right in the middle.
Right in the middle.
I'm the oldest of 3.
Okay.
And so you kind of take on big brother tendencies, I guess.
Definitely.
Or try to anyways. You're like, hey, don't mess with my family. Say whatever you want to me. You leave my siblings out of this. Hey, especially now I'm a public figure. Say whatever you want about me. Leave my family out your mouth, all right? But if my dad's the 9th of 10, and my mom's the third of 5. So yes, big, hilariously large Catholic families. And if you were in those families, you know when you go on vacation and it's in the car and you got a bunch of kids in the car who now I guess everybody can have their own headphones and watch whatever they want on their screens, which is fine by me. Whatever. If it keeps you quiet, do whatever. As long as you're not looking at anything horrible, just go right on. But, there's still times where, like, and it makes sense where some families are like, hey, no, we talk to each other. We're in this together. Get off your phone, do that. But then you do that, and then nobody can agree on the music. Someone's always got to go to the bathroom. You've got, especially when it's boys, picking at each other, throwing things at each other, punching each other, poking them in the face when they're sleeping.
We had plenty of that.
And there's a point inevitably where mom or dad or both will threaten to stop the car or actually stop the car or say, I'm turning this car around. We're going home right now. Vacation is canceled. Christmas is canceled.
One time we didn't even make it out the driveway.
That's good.
And he stopped. He was like, we're done. We're not going anymore. It was over.
Day plan ruined.
Exactly. Didn't even make it out the street. It's gone.
So that's basically if I'm driving the car of the Happy Holidays, Merry Christmas debate, that's where I stand on it. I will not allow fighting on it. It's dumb. Don't do that. But we have been putting out questions here on the socials, and we'll get to some of those. We got to some on the Christmas Eve episode. We'll get to some more here. They've been fun. Some of them sports themed, some of them not sports themed. Here's a good one. How many reindeer can you name off the top of your head? Let's see. Rudolph, easy.
Can you tell me how many there are total? I don't even remember. Is it 12?
12 reindeer, I think.
12 reindeer? That sounds right.
13? No, I think there's 12. So there's Rudolph. There is Dancer and Prancer. Comet. Cupid. Blitzen. Prancer. Comet.
That's half of them. You still got 6 more.
Whew, then we're not going to get to 12. Let's see. Blitzen. That might be all I've got.
I'm pulling up the full list here so I can fact check it. Let's see what we got.
So far, I've got Rudolph, Dancer, Prancer, Comet, Cupid, Blitzen.
Oh, if the internet wants to work here.
This is a communications company. Of course, our internet's perfect.
Sometimes. All right, let's see how many.
There are 12, right? Or is it 13 or 12?
9 is what this show ends up with.
9? That's it?
3, 6. Is it 3 sets? 3, 6, 9?
You reindeer.
3. That definitely feels like there's usually more, right?
Now I'm fact checking the fact checker.
2, 4, 6, 8. Then Rudolph in the front, actually. If there's sets of 2, yeah, that makes sense. 9.
That's right. Just 9. Oh, hold on. Rudolph, Dancer, Prancer, Comet, Cupid, Blitzen, Donner? Is that one?
Donner is one of them. Yep. Yeah.
So I've got...
Hold on. Name your list again. Let me see what we're missing.
Rudolph, Dancer, Prancer, Comet, Cupid, Donner, Blitzen.
And that's how many? How many yet?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7.
7. So you're missing 2. I think I know which 2, but I don't know if you want me to tell you.
Okay, who are they?
All right. Did you get Vixen?
No.
Didn't get Vixen. And you got Blitzen, right?
Got Blitzen.
Did you get Prancer?
Yes.
Dancer and Prancer?
Yes.
Dasher, Dancer.
Dasher.
Dasher. That's the one you didn't get. Okay.
What's really funny is if we had sat here being like, man, what are those other 3 names? We've only got 9 of them.
We'd have been here a while because
Yeah.
I would have never figured it out.
Yeah. On Connor, on Blitzen, on Stupid. Like, we'd have been like, just making up names. What would be better? I think there's Bill. I think he's one of them, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Rudolph, Brodoff. That's another one. I think George Washington was one. I don't know. I mean, that's a fun question. I got 7 of 9, which I think is a couple more than I thought maybe that I would get.
That's a decent success rate. It's not too bad.
Another easy one here. Favorite Christmas song? Christmas in Hollis, probably. By Run DMC.
I'm not sure I've got an answer on that one, I'll be honest with you.
Come on, man. It's a rule. You can't have tattoos and not have a favorite Christmas song. That's a
fair.
rule. That is a rule.
I do like You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch. That's a classic.
Classic. Good one.
Dan to the Sugar Plum Fairy is pretty good. That one's up there.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm out.
You got 2?
I got 2. I mean, I like all kinds of Christmas songs, but you put me on the spot.
Let's see. The ones... actually, no, my favorite... Actually, hold on. Christmas in Hollis is number 2. I really cannot believe that I forgot. It's not one of just my favorite Christmas songs. It's one of my favorite songs of all time by my favorite band, Fairy Tale of New York by the Pogues.
I don't think I've heard that one. Or if I have, I don't know it.
Justin, are you aware of the Pogues?
I know the name.
They are... Now, I have categories of this. I think the greatest rock and roll band of all time is the Rolling Stones. The greatest American rock and roll band of all time is the Beach Boys. And I'll fight tooth and nail about that because without the Beach Boys, music, as just about anyone enjoys it these days, does not exist in the form that it exists. Their footprints on everything, from the harmonies and then the pet sounds and everything, just everything. But my favorite band of all time, so I've got the 3 categories. Greatest rock and roll band of all time, Rolling Stones. Greatest American rock and roll band of all time, the Beach Boys. My favorite band of all time is the Pogues. And Fairy Tale of New York is... I love that still to this day, almost every single year, it goes back at or near the top of the charts in England. Like almost every year it gets played enough, like on BBC and other radios and playlists and things there, that it goes back to the top of the charts like every year.
Are they an English band? I don't know.
They are an Irish English band.
Okay, that makes sense then. Gotcha.
But they are, to the fact that like I will have a dog named Pogue at some point. There's 1,000% that, yes. And my wife, who is the greatest got me a signed album from the Pogues, including a signature from the dearly departed Shane MacGowan, the man who probably throughout all of history, there's never been a greater separation between the beauty in someone's voice and the sheer ugliness of their face than Shane MacGowan. It is a poet on the inside, a disaster on the outside. that is Shane MacGowan. Rest in peace, Shane. You're the best. So that Fairy Tale of New York is my favorite Christmas song, and then Christmas in Hollis is number 2. Now, if you're talking about like the pure classics, I would say either Grinch
Grinch is up there. You
or
can't beat it.
Blue Christmas.
It's a good one.
Just Elvis's voice is just
Yep.
just the best. But probably that. And I like Feliz Navidad too.
That's a good one. Rock Around the Christmas Tree. Always makes you think of Home Alone. That's a good one.
Rock Around the Christmas Tree is probably my son's favorite, actually.
Okay.
He asked for that one a lot, and Christmas in Hollis. But he has like his own little Run DMC dance at 4 years old, which is really good. Let's just put it this way. He would be happy Tennessee's gone back to Adidas for #MyAdidas with Run DMC. But no one does tracksuits better. Only Puma's close. But if, let's see here, get to another one. Ideal Christmas dinner. Let's see.
We always do a Christmas breakfast. I don't really have a Christmas dinner.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, we always a classic. Got to have country ham. No matter what, country ham is always there.
Got to be, yeah.
Got to be. We got that.
That and on Easter too, you got to have it.
Yep. With that, we got obviously biscuits and things. We do that. Eggs, bacon,
Gravy?
Hash brown casserole, some gravy.
Our family, we had to change up the tradition about 30 years ago when my idiot brother was born. Because he was born on, drum roll please, December 25th. He ruined Christmas morning in 1995. He's ruined every Christmas since. Because it's his birthday. And so what we do, and again, families sometimes with December birthdays, families will do like, they'll do like half birthday parties or something. We've never done that. I think it's dumb. And I'm sorry because my son's going to be in the same boat because he's December 10, his birthday. Every year, December really is great for the wallet with wife's birthday, son's birthday, brother's birthday, Christmas. So that's a murderer's row of financial disaster right there. But we always do his birthday party Christmas night. And it's never a big one. He might do one at school or something at a slightly different time, but for the family, it's Christmas night. So we had to change Christmas dinner to basically like a Christmas brunch or Christmas lunch. Because at night, we fire up the grill and do hamburgers and hot dogs because it's his birthday party. That's what he wants. So, but for us, it's kind of a scaled down version of Thanksgiving. Basically is what it is. So you've got the turkey, the ham, biscuits, you've got green bean casserole. You got my favorites, which are corn pudding and sweet potatoes. And gravy, probably a little relish. My wife likes to do like the beans and stuff with chow chow on them. That's her old family thing. And so we've added that into the mix. Basically that kind of a meal. So we do a lot of eating on Christmas. And then at night, and you can't do Christmas dinner now because of his birthday stuff. So that means you have to start the main Christmas meal really early because then you got to have it and then you got to nap because you ate too much. Although now it's like you try to make little kids take a nap on Christmas when they've got an entire room worth of new toys to play with. It ain't happening. So what happens? A lot of them are cranky by the time Christmas birthday party rolls around at night. So it's just always something. So my brother, the idiot, born on Christmas, and that day actually, he's much younger than me. He's like 14 years younger than me. He was an accident, and which is fitting because that's what his entire life is, and because he's an idiot. He really ruins my Christmas. Can you tell this? Am I making this abundantly clear?
You don't seem too happy about it. I'll give you that.
Just on this day. I love him every other day.
Okay.
Christmas, he can kick rocks.
364 days.
Because, all of a sudden it's your day, buddy. Oh, you're the baby of the family. And it's, whoa. And so that night, I was an altar boy in those days and served midnight mass that year. I was like the altar boy. So we got home at like whatever, 2:30. And then mom's going to labor at like 4:30 or 5. So basically, the doctor, and this is a true story, gave my mom the epidural while stepping over me. Like, basically, like, hold on, let me see, make sure. And so, but yeah, that's what we do on Christmas, and that is a fun. Let's see, I think there was one or two more Christmas questions in here for sure. Well, I can't answer this, obviously. They said, what are you getting your son for Christmas? Hey, I'm not Santa Claus. I can tell you that he asked for a bunch of Hot Wheels.
Okay, all right.
He wants a bunch of Hot Wheels tracks, some Transformers, Spider-Man web shooter.
It's a solid lineup.
A trampoline. He got a big list. If he's been a really good boy, and sources tell me that Santa thinks he's been overall really good. Not great, because no toddler is, but pretty good. I think what I've heard from sources is that Santa might have him on the good list. I don't know if he's going to get the big red truck that he got last year that he can drive around or I can control it. It's like a Hot Wheels, but the parents can control it. Got one of those. This year he wanted more. It was Hot Wheels, Transformers, Spider-Man web shooter, trampoline. So he really likes the Hot Wheels City. Like, basically, there are a bunch of tracks that go together, and you can put them together however you want, custom. And so you basically, like, my home office upstairs is now just, it's a Hot Wheels City room is what it is. And I cannot go a day without stepping on a Hot Wheel. In fact, I have a Band-Aid on the bottom of my foot right now from a particularly sharp Hot Wheel that got me the other day. Put me on the injured list. So obviously, I don't know what Santa will bring Hank, but I know what he asked for. And I've heard Santa thinks he's been pretty good. So he might be doing well. He might be doing well. That's what I've heard. There's one more maybe Christmas. There's at least one more Christmas question in there. Thought I'd pulled it up. Where are you? Christmas question. Best Christmas present you ever got? That's a good one. I can tell you the worst. Be my brother. That was the worst Christmas present ever.
Keep circling around to that one.
We'll probably have this on in the background while we're all sitting around. Oh, I'm going to get you, buddy. You know, the stories I've got about you that I could just tell all the time. Oh, man. Let's see. The ones that I remember the most, the original Nintendo Christmas was a big one. Because I remember we were up at the family farm in Maynardville, and I really wanted to, like, the Nintendo had kind of just come out not that long ago. And I had a buddy who had a Nintendo. I really wanted a Nintendo. Really, really, really did. And it was presented to me as, and this is what Santa did. Santa hid it for a while. And I thought Christmas had expired and there was no Nintendo. So I was kind of worried. Like, what, 7 years old, 8 years old? I was like, I thought I'd been pretty good. In reality, I was probably awful. But I thought in my mind I had been pretty good. But then there was the big reveal that Santa actually had got the Nintendo and had set it up with a TV. And so I sat there in Maynardville for like a week, just Nintendo and duck hunting up a storm. It was that one I will always remember that Christmas. That was a good one. That might be my favorite one ever. And I just told you what my least favorite Christmas present was. What's been your best Christmas gift of your life, Justin?
I've had some good ones. Same vein, I got an Xbox in middle school. That was a big one.
Nice.
My mom did the thing where she you open it up and you have the game. And I was like, I have the game. I don't have an Xbox.
Oh.
She's like, oh, I'm sorry. I got the wrong thing. I guess we'll have to take it back. I didn't know. And then I opened up the next big present, and then bam, there's an Xbox. That was a good one. And then when I got my first DSLR camera, that was another big one.
Ooh, that is
a big
nice.
day for me.
That is nice. And my wife and I have a dumb Christmas game that we play every year, where we pick a color and set a price, either $20 or $30, and it's got to be this color.
I've heard through the grapevine about what this is already.
And it's the weirdest gift wins. And so we've spent this year. It's a shade of green, and I think what she got's pretty. I don't know if it's the best one I've ever gotten, but it's pretty good. But like in the past, it's been weird things like magenta, chartreuse, like very specific shades of colors. One was like a turquoise one. And the turquoise year, I got her a gigantic ceramic Buddha that was that turquoise color. And it's still, every year, I put it on the porch. And then she tries to hide it somewhere else because she doesn't want it out. And then I go find it and put it back. And so it's just kind of half the time it's on our porch, half the time it's hidden somewhere else. But like that year, I got her a book called The Chartreuse Mongoose that was signed by the author, by the way. And this year, I guess it is Christmas now, so I can go ahead and say what it is. This year, it's a microwave cleaner, but it's Godzilla. And you put like water and vinegar in it or something, and when you put him, he spins around in the microwave, and then he starts shooting out the smoke and the liquid, and then you can clean the microwave with it.
That actually sounds really cool. I don't know. That's something I'd buy.
It's pretty awesome. And like when we did the lime green or whatever, she got me the Borat Mankini. That was a good gift. Never been worn, FYI. It's still in the underwear drawer, and I laugh at it all the time.
There's still time to wear it. You can still break it out.
Could still break it out. Could. That'll be a great show one day. That'll be like, hey guys, guess what? Ha ha! Let's talk about sports. I would be fired. That was a good one. We've had other ones over the years, and they're always really, really, really dumb. But that's one of our, you keep a marriage interesting. You have fun. You do dumb things. That's our thing that we do. So that's what you've gotten this year. Beautiful. I hope you like it. And if you don't, you better be a good liar. And you're not. So it is Christmas. And you, the listener, you, the viewer, you might be wondering, what do we get? We're spending part of our Christmas season here listening to 10 at 3 with Wes Rucker, either on the podcast driving around or watching it at home, watching it at the office if you have to work, if you're one of the unfortunates who has to work today. That is something we handled for you. We do have a gift for you. We've played parts of it throughout the week, but we did sit down on Monday morning with new Tennessee baseball coach Josh Elander. And the Christmas present that we have for you is an extended, exclusive, sit-down interview with Tennessee baseball coach Josh Elander. Lots of good stuff on this. Here it is. We got a special edition of the show today, joined by Tennessee head baseball coach Josh Elander. Of course, Josh, people would say first-time head coach, and I would maybe say not so fast. I believe you have an unbeaten record as the acting head coach. Is that correct?
Yeah, I don't know about that, but I'm excited to be the head coach without having somebody get launched to be able to do so.
How does the whole thing feel? I mean, I guess now you've had a little bit of time at least to have it soak in. I mean, I remember you go through the whole madness of what's going on there for a few days, then you get the job, and now how long did it take to settle in, if it has even?
Honestly, I don't really think it has yet. You know, it was such a whirlwind there, and it went so fast, but it seemed like it was a month or two, but it really was only a couple days, right? Really, my focus was on the players and making sure, because the timing of the deal was we're in the middle of the fall, right in the Fall World Series, signing day right around the corner. We actually had our 26 class in for an official visit as well, so it was a little bit of a whirlwind, but we always talk with our players about next task and what is the focus here, and that's what we tried to do to get through that period, and it worked out well.
Yeah, I guess, you think about, in most sports, the seasons end between the college and the program around the same time, right? So there's never been this whole deal of what happens if a college coach goes on to the professional level, because it doesn't really happen. But what it does, found out it happens at a really weird time. So, I mean, if you could walk us through all that, because when we're covering these things or if fans are watching them, they just think, okay, who's going to be the coach? Where are they going to go? And I've done this long enough where you start thinking of the assistants first, because it's never just a head coach. There's a million people who work in a program. And I was thinking the other day while thinking about this interview here, just trying to kind of set the scene for what those couple of days are like, because you're okay, all of a sudden now Tony's going to San Francisco, and now the menu of options at that point had to be so long in terms of, oh, okay, well, I want the job here, obviously, but if it doesn't work out, would I go with him? Would I look for another job somewhere? Would I see who got hired here and stay on? I mean, what's going on with the wife, the kids? I mean, it had to be a million things, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it was easy to kind of get lost in the woods with all the options or whatever it may be, but really, we love Tennessee. My family, I know my wife and my girls, they were all born at Tennessee Medical here in town, and we love this place. And so for me at the beginning, I really didn't have any interest in going into professional baseball, just because I've lived that life as a player and I've done that, and it was amazing. But, we really believe in what we were building here. But the focus really went to kind of all the players first, right, just because they were the ones in flux, and we're in the middle of trying to get better and finish the fall well. So, but then also our staff, where we're football obviously has huge staffs now, but baseball is kind of closing that gap a little bit, where we have 10, 12 guys. And, our staff, one thing we show recruits a bunch is just the family aspect, right, where, Kirby Connell or Ethan Payne or Ross Kivett, who's been here 7 years, we all have long history and roots in Tennessee. So, this is where we wanted to be. We're excited it worked out. We were able to keep most of the crew together, but, it wasn't really, hey, what are the options, this and that. It was like, hey, how do we do our job to take care of our guys in the building? And then we'll see how the rest plays out as we go.
Y'all are getting pretty good about the staff size and some of the titles for people. It's not quite as fun as football is yet in terms of some of the titles that people have. There's some really fun ones there, but it has been nice to watch sort of the growth of the sport, right? As someone who's a baseball guy from a baseball family, and you cover things at Tennessee for a while, and you're like, hey, they had some success, and then kind of cycled up, and then it would go down for a while, and we all kind of knew what the facilities were as the rest of the leagues, building cathedrals. And if people might think of you as a new head coach here, but you've been here, you've seen the bad times, right? Seen the walking into a tough situation. What were your impressions of the place when you arrived in terms of what you were seeing, how daunting maybe it was in some ways, and just what it could be here?
Yeah, I think just looking at it, the facility standpoint, we were just behind, right? And then roster standpoint, too, we just weren't competitive compared to where we had came from on the west side of the SEC. So it was just a constant state of improvement. But the city of Knoxville being in the SEC and now seeing all the changes that have happened, I think we have the best administration to put us in a position to have success. So I sent a picture to our all of our recruits the other night, just walking in from center field. I think now, gosh, you walk in, it really has a kind of wow moment when you walk in through center field with all the suites and the new turf going down and all that. But to me, it's always, we were very motivated from the jump to prove that we could do it. I think a lot of times it was, well, hey, you can't win there, or they haven't won there. But it was, well, why not? Why can't we win here, right? We thought we had the resources. We would really go through recruiting relentlessly to try to get some of the best guys in the country. And we were able to do that. But development has always been kind of our thing that helped us close that gap. I think our staff loves to be in the trenches with the guys, the old staff and the new staff, and that was a big part of kind of closing the gap. But it was definitely a teamwork from administration, the players doing what was. I mean, there's been some amazing moments in that field now with Gilbert and Beck and all those guys. I think lifelong memories that people will never forget, and I think that just gives us all a great sense of pride, but also a sense of motivation to continue to make sure we stack those moments in the future.
Yeah, the days of the playground down the right field line are long gone, which is always so comically placed next to Frat Row, and it was just never really understood that one. Another topic for another day. But in terms of what you thought was sort of possible, I mean, with what y'all have done in that program, I think people who are maybe kind of finally getting on the college baseball train or seeing with kind of eyes wide open just how brutal the SEC is. And when you're coming into it, starting from the bottom, it's not like the other cars slow down to kind of let you catch up. They're kind of trying to lap you several times and then put you in the wall, and it's brutal. And I mean, was it just? Could you not even think of it in those terms? Was it just kind of a let's do one thing at a time here, or can the big picture never leave your mind as you're trying to build it?
Great question. I think number one, it starts with recruiting. That's where we put our almost entire focus was we needed to get better between the lines. So recruiting was number one, and then preparation, right? How did we practice? How are we developing? Those are very, very important to kind of close that gap with recruiting. And then lastly, just competition. We wanted internal competition between our team and guys making sure that, hey, it wasn't this guy's going to be handed the shortstop job or this guy's going to be handed the catcher job. We wanted guys having to fight for that, kind of create positional versatility, which I'm sure the fans have seen. We move guys kind of all over the place. It'll always stay like that. But those were our three focuses right there, because I think sometimes you have to start with the end in mind and kind of work backwards, right? We wanted to be strong in the middle of the field. We needed to recruit better, and our gap needed to be we needed to work a little bit harder and play with an edge. So I think that's what we did to kind of close that gap, and now we're excited for the challenge of sustaining success in this league, because it's not easy. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, I would imagine just the difference in, say, walking around a park in the summer or walking into people's homes might be a little bit easier to get into the door now, wearing the shirt that you're wearing here, but still got to go recruit them, got to develop them, got to do all these things. And when you're going through that change, I imagine, I would have to imagine, I don't know, but the way that this league is, how challenging was it to keep the roster together? Because it's the Wild West now. I mean, the guys you've got committed, also the guys you've got on the team. I mean, anything is possible. How much of a challenge, if at all, was that?
It definitely was a challenge. I think in the SEC, it's as competitive as it gets in recruiting. I think we see it in the football world right now, and now with the portal and everything that goes into that. But I've said in a couple other deals, we had to play defense more than offense there for a little bit, which was a little weird for us because we always want to be on the offensive end in recruiting. But we just go back to, if you do things the right way and treat people right and work hard, and we try to do that in recruiting, make sure even when guys are committed that we still stay in touch, we still go watch them play, so there's a real tangible relationship there that can serve as the baseline for player development, and then also too just for the rest of our lives, right, as we work out. So, I mean, I know one of the best things I got to do this offseason, I miss all the craziness, was go to Jordan Beck's wedding and see Liam and Gilbert and all the guys from across the years. So that's what it's all about on this side. But, the recruiting is my favorite thing. I told our staff as we work, like recruiting and player acquisition and player development and retention is the number one thing for everybody in the building. So that'll continue to be the case for us moving forward.
If I had to guess, maybe one of the biggest differences between the casual level of fan and like the hardcore fan, there's a lot of differences there, but I think maybe one of the biggest was you could see during that period where Tony takes the job and leaves, just how quickly the real kind of day one diehards especially were like, no, the coach is here now. You don't have to go look around. The coach is here now. And I know you're probably trying to not focus on that stuff. You've got a million other things in the real world, much less social media and things to pay attention to. But when you see that sort of outpouring that was there or got wind of it, and not just from fans, but also from recruits, from former players, from families, from all these things, I imagine it just had to be kind of a good feeling, right? At least when word gets back to you about all that.
It was incredibly humbling. Just so many players that had my back, and then we have a really cool facility now where the weight room is right behind the home dugout where we're at. So just walking in and seeing all the former players and just kind of a nod of approval and maybe a hug walking by. We really didn't need to talk about it. It's just you could kind of feel like in the building and with those guys that they had my back, and it was incredibly motivating. It really was. But like you said, I tried not to focus on that as much as I could. I just wanted to make sure I was most prepared kind of going into the interview. And then also, too, like I invested a ton of my time with the rest of the staff, and Coach Kiv was amazing helping us out. But we wanted to over-communicate with our recruits and our players, just kind of keep them in the loop on what was going on because, change is inevitable. It's going to happen everywhere. It's part of life, but it can be a little scary. So our deal at times was, hey, let's make sure we communicate at a high level. But, all those guys like Blake Burke and all of them, like incredibly thankful. But, that's why we'll be close with those guys until they're 40, 50 years old or whatever it may be.
In terms of one thing that I imagine you would not be able to forget, even if you tried, not that you'd want to forget, was the reaction from the players. I mean, if you could kind of peel back the curtain there to the extent that you can anyway, in terms of how long at that point when you walked into that room had you known that you had gotten the job, and did you have sort of any idea what to expect when you kind of walked in that room with those guys?
Well, so the timeline, it was really about an hour. I was over at the facility early in the morning. We were getting ready for practice, and then Danny White asked me to go over across the street. So I met with him, and he offered me the job. Of course, I said yes, about as quick as I could.
Yeah, you got a pen?
And Frank was over there. It was cool. Got to kind of share that moment with him. He was the first person that I got to talk with. And then Danny had a great idea, basically, we went in kind of with the stone cold face, like, kind of playing the game, messing with the guys a little bit. Danny asked us all to leave, and then I walked around, and then Alicia Longworth was amazing. She got all my girls there. So to be able to have that, like, it was maybe 4 or 5 minutes where I just got to hang out with my girls just for a minute. And then I walked back in that room, and then that reaction is something I'll never forget. I really think it was authentic. That's something we talk about with our players a bunch. If you're going to do something, let's just do it. Let's figure out what we got. And so for them to give me and the team, I think it was something we'll always remember, right? But also, too, it's incredibly motivating because I think a lot of people have had my back on this, which is I'm very excited about. That's why I've tried to take care of people that have been in the trenches with us over the years, and but really excited for the future and also motivated because it's our job to kind of now close that gap. They've had our back, so now we need to have theirs and take care of them this spring.
And in terms of your job now with the difference, right? I guess maybe during the season it would be more apparent what some of the changes would be, but I mean, just from a practical standpoint, right? I mean, obviously, I guess, the direct deposit hits, you probably know, hey, I'm the head guy now. That's nice. But in terms of just the practical standpoint of, I know you're a guy, you like to be in the cage, you like to be out on the turf, you like to be in the weight room, you like to be doing those things, running the offense, which you said a couple places that you're still going to keep doing. So from a practical standpoint, how much is your average day different now?
Really, it's a little bit less sleep, right? But I gave up on sleep when we had our second girl.
Yeah.
So now we're with our third one in the sleep progression, so that's a little bit of a grind, but also a blessing at the same time. But in all seriousness, I love the X's and O's. I've always been – I never understood when I was coming up as a player, like, this coach has to be the recruiting guy or this coach has to be the offensive guy. Or this, why can't you be a little bit of everything, right? I think having some range in what you're able to do, and if you can basically have that amongst the staff, I think it can be very, very powerful. So – what I wanted to do was go out and get a difference maker right away after taking care of our guys in the building, and that was Chuck Drallman. He's a guy that, whether it be verbiage, how we run the offense or do things, is somebody I'm very comfortable with, right? So when I have to do things that are new to the head coaching position and I may not be able to be in the cage for that small particular time as much as I want, I know he's got it covered. But as far as I still want to coach third base, I'm going to do that. I want to be out there. I want to keep everything about as similar between the lines as we can, and then I'm really excited for the challenge of just being the main voice on the culture and mindset, and I've learned from some of the best people in college baseball. I'm excited to kind of put my spin on that, but also just our guys working hard, playing hard, acting right, and being professional. That's something I'm really excited about.
Yeah, I was definitely going to ask you about the culture because I know that, in terms of you and Tony, I think there's always been a lot of alignment there. There always was a lot of alignment there. But in terms of, personalities, different guys. I mean, different guys with different lives who have gone different ways. And in terms of that with you, how much, what do you feel about the culture of the program, kind of where it's been, what you would like it to be, what you like, what you don't? I mean, how much, if any, change would you expect there? Because, I mean, it's – everyone knows that Tony's he is who he is. He's a different kind of guy, right? And everybody's different in their own way. But how different would things be with you, running the show?
Well, I think it really goes down to the team. I talk about the guys as, we get into this period that's coming up when we get after the new year. It's preparation. That's one of our core values of our program, and really just attack that. But I think it has to be kind of organic and authentic, like not, hey, we got to do – when someone does this, this is how we have to react. Like I always talk about what is the difference between reacting versus responding. Sometimes there's a pause in there, which maybe over the years we've needed a little bit more of that at times. But
Sure.
I want our players to basically drive the car on that, right? And then you can kind of, help them get back into the lane as it may change a little bit. But I think it'll change a little bit year to year. But, I'm so thankful for, Tony gave me this job when I was really young, and we're very different, a little bit of yin and yang there. But I think that's why we work so well together, and obviously so excited for him. But at the end of the day, like this place at Tennessee will always be about the players, and we want them to have self-awareness, be authentic, be themselves, and then play the game. So that's what we'll let them do.
Yeah, most people say it's usually easier to hold back the reins a little bit than to have to kick somebody into gear. It's kind of hard to get somebody started if they don't want to start. But in terms of the staff stuff, I know you don't have too much more time, but in terms of the staff stuff, I know obviously in terms of the percentage of retention, what y'all were able to do in terms of keeping people, I think probably exceeded what most expectations would have been. But there's no question that, it's not just Tony and you and Ross and everybody else who's been important to this program. Everyone knows what Frank and Quentin Eberhardt have meant to the program and how, blessed Tennessee was to have them for so many years. How, I guess, difficult was it to hear that they, wanted to go on for a new challenge? And how do you feel about the replacement hires that you've made?
Yeah, great question. I mean, those two have always been kind of family to me. It's funny. You spent 9 years, and they're 8.5 years with Frank in the dugout, and then Q. We met when I was 21 years old, coming up through the minor leagues with the Braves. And I remember Tony, when we ended up coming over here from Arkansas, he's like, hey, we need a strength guy. And I remember thinking, man, I got the perfect guy. I got the guy. So, again, just number one, excited for those guys. I mean, Frank, we joke about, talk about climbing ladder. He always joked his first job, he was washing towels at as a middle school coach, right? So for him to climb the ladder all the way to the top and be towards the twilight of his career and get to be at opening day in the major leagues, like, well deserved. I'm so excited for him. And then Q, again, just one of the best, right? There's no doubt. But Q was really cool on how we communicated. The first thing we were able to do is it was a really quick process where we basically got his right-hand man, who's Keegan Knoll, who we've hired from the Milwaukee Brewers. They work together in the major leagues with the Chicago Cubs. So they have the big league background, a very similar philosophy as far as how they go about the day-to-day business. But I think the difference with Keegan is more he's like kind of the science and tech, which I think with player development is going to continue to go more and more that way, how you measure things and how you can tangibly say, hey, this is helping guys have success or not. So whether it be with force plate data or Kaiser reps or whatever it may be, I'm really excited about Keegan. And also we can bring in a recruit and say, hey, you want to play in the big leagues? Go ask this guy. This is what it's going to be like. And then replacing Frank, Coach Reynolds, Coach V did an amazing job kind of getting out in front of this a few years because obviously having Ren, a former Power 4 pitching coach, a high draft pick, has been on the rubber himself. But as far as like the day-to-day stuff has really been in the trenches with the guys. As far as even just playing catch or catching flat grounds, PFP, I mean, he put in a big point of emphasis has always been, how do we hold runners, right? I know in the last few years, and he puts in the glove drop pick versus Cincinnati last year's old team. We get a big pick off.
Oh, yes. I didn't know that was him. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, so that's just one of many things. But a guy I'm excited to really just kind of turn loose, right? So, adding those two guys, I think, again, like what's cool is we were able to hold the whole roster together. The recruiting classes we're really excited about and keeping that continuity on staff with it may be some new faces, but some guys that are a little more hungry, right, at this point, and excited to go to a battle with those guys this spring.
The last thing I want to ask you about is the team this season, obviously, but just before that, in terms of with you and people getting to know you, I can't imagine. I've never in any sport covered someone who's a really good recruiter who does not have a likable personality, right? You can't. I don't care what you're offering if you can't recruit at a high level without this stuff. And so how comfortable you obviously when Tony's the boss, cameras go that way. They just do. And how comfortable are you now with the cameras kind of panning over in your direction?
I'll be honest, it's a little new for me. I think as the recruiting coordinator or associate head coach, like you can really put your head down. It's like X's and O's, getting the players better each day, like really and to recruit at a high level in this league, you have to be obsessed. There's no other word for it. It eats a ton of your time. So it was very almost like an island at times where you can really put your eyes down and nose down and go to work. But I'm just excited. There's so many great people in Knoxville, and the media people have been great to us for over 9 years. I mean, I've known you a long time.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of great people with Ben McKee and Mike Wilson.
Yes,
so
yes.
the people, it's been really cool to see just, again, as the program has gotten better, how much more engagement there is with the program. So, again, I just want to give people an insight into what we're doing, how we do things, and the more excitement and eyes we can get around the program, the better. But my focus would be hopefully it's more on the players and how we're playing than instead of me or individually. That's where I want it to be, is with the players.
But for y'all who don't know, this was a heck of a baseball player here. This was a starter at TCU, got to Omaha as a freshman, high round draft pick by the Braves, who are one of the smartest organizations. I say this as a Cubs fan, one of the smartest organizations in baseball with what they do, with what they have all the time consistently. And then is their Braves minor league player of the year, Hank Aaron Award. And then has some injuries, unfortunately, and that's the way life goes at times, but then became a coach, and there's really good stuff out there. I urge y'all to Google kind of why he's coaching. There's some really good stuff, him about his dad. There's a bunch of stuff that we did not have time to get to today that is absolutely fantastic, and when we have Josh on again, we'll talk about these things. But lastly, this team this season, I guess, I've heard Coach years ago told me that when you become a head coach, you're usually taking over a roster that's so good the last guy got a promotion, and then you have pressure, or you're taking over a roster it was so bad that you're the head coach now, and so you got to build things over. And right, neither one of them is perfect because they've all got issues, but you took over what I think we would all say is a pretty healthy situation. Last season it's hard to repeat, it just is, and kind of got close but didn't get there. What did you kind of learn from that experience last season, and how did that kind of shape roster building with tweaking some things going into this year?
Yeah, it's another great question. I think, again, we don't try to put like, hey, you have to win X amount of games or X amount of series. That may sound crazy, but like baseball is different than football, where it's about winning series. That's what you need to do. And then midweek games, we call those basically host games. You want to win those so you can play at home in the postseason. So I really like this roster. The first thing we set out, Tony and I, all of us this summer, was basically just wanted to redo the bullpen. We had a lot of flamethrowers, were more of a similar look, and we always talked about making it a little bit harder to prepare for our pitching staff, right? So I'm excited for Ball Nation to see kind of the different looks. I know Brady Frederick basically scrapes his fingers on the rubber when he throws, and
yes.
Bo Rudy's throwing, ride cutters, and we got some guys with a big velo, some freshmen, and lefties, righties, so I think we'll be able to kind of mix and match a little bit more. But offensively, I'm very excited about this roster. It's very dynamic.
I can see why.
It's very competitive, and it'll be tough for me because we're gonna have to keep those guys happy at the same time. But whatever 9 we roll out there, I'm really excited about. So again, that was really the main change with the roster last year. But each day around here, it's you want to attack each day. They all count the same. That's one thing that's been a theme in the building, whether it's a Tuesday or Sunday. But without a doubt, like last year, hey, you go to Super Regional on the road and lose to a great Arkansas team, but it wasn't good enough. We didn't win enough games on Sunday. That's been a deal that needs to be better this year, and we need to finish in close series. So that'll be a big focus of our preparation going into the spring, and then we'll cut it loose once we get going.
Hey, man, you're the boss. Their job is to keep you happy also, right? I mean, that's a symbiotic thing, right? They got to keep the boss happy, right? But no, seriously, Josh, there were just so much meat left on the bones. I hope we can get you on again at some point because there are so many questions about this, this team, and not questions in a bad way, questions in a good way about, I think, reasons people should be excited about some of this talent and what y'all have got here. But congratulations again on getting the job. I think a lot of people around here were very happy to see that and hear that happen. And now good luck with just keeping everybody happy, right? They all love you now. Now you just got to keep it going that way, right? Keep being undefeated as a head coach. That would help.
Yeah, that won't last too long. But, again, very excited and thankful how it played out, and I appreciate you having me on today.
And that was our interview with Tennessee baseball coach Josh Elander. Thank you to Josh for stopping by the office. It's rare when you can get one of the coaches or people to come. Actually, you don't have to take all your equipment over there, and they just come over to your studio, and that is very kind of them to do. Very, very nice of him to do that. Certainly known Josh for a long time. I think he'll do a really good job. I think Tennessee made the right hire there. Time will tell, obviously. And hey, Josh knows as well as anyone that if it doesn't go well, I'm going to be in this same seat saying it's not going well. Done that before. That's part of the job. I don't think it'll come to that, though. I think Tennessee's got a really good thing going there, and there's certainly a lot of talent for him to go into the recruiting to that ballpark. He's already one of the nation's best recruiters. Now he's got one of the nation's best ballparks to recruit to. They've given him a good staff. Drawman, great hire. Reynolds, great hire. Got a lot of people in that program. Got a lot of talent on that team this year. Really a lot more talent coming in. So lots to look forward to there. Obviously, it's going to be different without Tony Vitello and Frank Anderson and Quentin Eberhardt, but things change. That is how life goes, and I think people are going to really like Josh Elander as they get to know him. So thanks to him for being here. Thanks to y'all for watching and for listening. Hope you have a very Merry Christmas. Hope you have a very Happy New Year, even though you're going to hear from us a lot between Christmas and New Year. So still, though, that's what you say, right, Justin? You say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, don't you?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Or wrap it all of it, and you know what you say when you wrap all of it up? Happy holidays. Guys, be safe on the roads if you're out there. Don't make bad decisions. Be good. And we'll see y'all here in about 23 hours.